My spidey senses is tingling.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Lopez, and this is my story. Most people know me as Rico. That's my nickname around here. Get a lot of questions how I get the nickname Rico. Probably back, I say 5th grade. Yeah, 5th grade. It was from basketball. Shout out Jameer and Marmar. They gave me the nickname, and ever since then, I just stuck with the name. I probably fell in love with the game of basketball at the age of 6, 7. At first, I really wasn't into the sport. My brother actually put me onto the sport. He would always play in the backyard, and I would just play with him all the time. And then he was teaching me moves. And then ever since then, I just fell in love with the game. Once my brother just picked up that basketball and told me to dribble and try new moves, get creative with it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So then ever since then, it's just been a passion that I want to pursue for my future. So at first, I never really played organized basketball when I was younger. I was just always outside playing with my friends. And then once 5th grade hit, I took the opportunity and found a team in my area called Hamilton Knights. Shout out to those coaches, Coach Willer, Coach Bryant, Coach Bobby. You know, they was big. They played a big impact in my life, because they made me know and realize that I can either pursue this or I can just play it for fun. So coming from 8th grade, I had a good little season. You know, me and my guys, we all played good that season. Shout out Nas, Desi's. Looking back at that year, after the season, we had a couple high school coaches come to our games. There was a school called St. Augustine Prep, Holy Spirit. For most of you, you guys know who these schools are. And at first, I was really gonna go to the prep, not even to get recruited, nothing. I was supposed to go there. My mom was like, "You're supposed to go there ASAP because your brother went there." So I was like, "All right." I didn't want to go there though. I had the Holy Spirit coach. He was watching me, and I'm like, "Oh, all right." He's showing a little interest. I used to go to the basketball camp, so he's like, "All right," just kind of showing me a little interest. I'm like, "All right." So then he finally shows me interest and was like, "Yo, I want you to come here." So then made the decision, went there. So when I got to Holy Spirit, it's kind of got thrown off. You know, the coach was telling me "Yo, you gonna play. Kept telling me, "Yo, you gonna play, just keep working. I was, whatever practices they had, I always wanted to show up. Even if it was only varsity, I was just asking coach "Yo, can I come watch?" But sometimes he would never let me, because I always wanted to take notes to see what it took to get on the varsity level. I was on freshman, obviously, you know, because he already got seniors and people that's better ahead of me, well, in his eyes. I didn't really care about that older people type stuff, because you know, talent is talent. You can't just base someone off what grade they in. So I'm out here a freshman, I'm showing up practice every day. I'm putting in work day in and day out. I'm dropping 30 every game freshman. So I'm all right, keep dropping 30, keep scoring. And then all of a sudden, I'm just yo, they just throwing me off. I'm just sitting there asking myself, what am I doing wrong? Is it me? Is it the coaches? Is it, I was just lost. I'm going through this whole situation. I'm yo, Mom, I'm not really liking the school. The school was just, I'm not trying to bash the school or nothing. That's just, I felt like it wasn't the right fit for me. So then I had forgot during my 8th grade year, I applied to ACIT. I found my application on the file probably mid-year of my freshman year, because it's the first marking period, second marking period. So I transferred literally when the 3rd marking period started of freshman year. It was a big shocker to everybody. Everybody was really shocked that I transferred there. I mean, everybody was asking, why would he transfer from Holy Spirit to ACIT? What's the point? They didn't really see it in my eyes. So, but then when I transferred, the Holy Spirit coach wanted me. He emailed my phone and was and he emailed my parents saying "Yo, you should try to come back." I'm I don't know, I ain't pay no mind to it. I just stuck to my decision, and I kept the journey to go to ACIT. When I transferred and started to get going and started working out, I was attending workouts. When I was attending workouts, I was finding out that Byron Nelson, he got the head coaching job. So I was okay. So I'll stick with Coach Nelson. Families, comes from a great family, knows the game of basketball really well. If it wasn't for Nelson, I don't know where I would be at right now. I mean, he's given me the best advice throughout my high school career. I mean, he's done a lot for me, and I love him to death. He really sacrificed a lot for us. He has a family now. He was sacrificing his time from his wife, his kids, to just to be 100% dialed in with us. And I couldn't really thank him enough. And yeah, shout out Coach Nels. So then once I transferred, this is my sophomore year of high school. This was COVID year. And for a lot of you people that know about the COVID year, you were scheduled about 20 plus games during the basketball season and you only played like 12. It was really hard, like, because we would just be ready for a game and then they'll say it got canceled. Oh, we'll be ready, and just it got canceled. And sometimes we had games last minute, but everybody in the gym was dialed in, but I feel like we didn't take it as much serious as like we did my upcoming year, which was my junior year. Right after, day after the season ended, we had weight room. So obviously, you know, the people that's still in the team, they gonna show up. Like I told them to show up, like, yo, we show up, like, we gotta stay dialed in. And that first day of weight room, Nelson pulled me aside and my two other friends, shout out Nas and Desi. He pulled us aside and said, yo, like, y'all don't want to have a record like this no more. Like, this y'all team. Like, y'all got to get everything together. Ever since that day, we was locked in, dialed in every single day. I actually really thank Coach Nelson for that. Because if he never pulled us aside that day, like, I don't think we probably would have started off late. Like, we wouldn't have been in the zone. During the beginning of junior year, you know, I started off a little rough the first game. First game, I had like 6, nothing crazy. But once that first game hit, ever since then, like, then it was the second, third game, fourth game, I started elevating my game. I was getting 15, 20, 30, 20, 15. Like, I just started averaging double digits. My career high was actually during my junior year. I scored 32. It was against Violin.
With a 3-point lead early, Jaden Lopez tries from distance and connects on the triple to push the lead to 6. The junior just getting warmed up. Redhawks get the board and the junior buries the triple. An unconventional 4-point play cuts the lead to 11. Lopez strips the ball down low and leads the fast break. He makes a great move to the hole as the Redhawks cut the lead to 7. Tucker finds Lopez on the wing, and that is good. ACIT outscores Vineland 17-2 in the third and leads 39-37 after 3. We are tied midway through the fourth. Lopez fires from the corner and drains another triple. The junior finishes with a game-high 32 points on the night. ACIT looking to extend the lead. Lopez kicks to Eric Williams, and he gets the friendly roll on the 3 as the Redhawks pick up a big road win. 56-51 is your final. ACIT improves to 4.
That was actually a big game for us because back then they was actually like, they wasn't that bad, but they was high in the division and we needed that win. Through our junior year, you know, everybody's playing good. We winning games, losing games, nothing crazy. Then we got to a point, right, where we didn't make the Cal playoffs and we were like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? Like, we didn't make it and we had like a better record than most of the teams in the division. But, you know, they just counted us out and the remaining thing we had was state playoffs. So during our consolation games that we played before state playoffs, we played against Wildwood Catholic, and once that happened, everything went left. I went up for a rebound, and the walls are like right where the out of bounds line is. I sprained my ankle, and that was the game before the state playoff game. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself like, yo, I let everybody down. Like, they had to go into that game without me. Once the season was over, we all got dialed in, back in the weight room. We just started to set goals at that point. We all still locked in, dialed in, weight room, you know, we all showing up. And then all of a sudden around November of my senior year, I went to go play pickup and I did a Euro step and tweaked my knee. So I went to the doctor. He said it was something called a Baker cyst. Before like the first game of the season for senior year like started, we was on the locker room. We was like, yo, like, this y'all year, like, this the way to, like, y'all gotta start it off like with a dub. Like, coach is like, you gotta start off with a dub. Like, seniors, this y'all last first game. So then after that first game was 1-0, and then we started winning, and then winning. Lost probably about I say 6 games my senior year. But when we seen like us winning and beating teams like that were like supposed to beat us, like we're like, yo, we got a shot, like winning something at least. So we keep winning. Then playoffs come by. I'm like, all right, yeah, we in the Cal playoffs. Okay. Couple games before the Cal playoffs, I tweaked my ankle again. So I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Like it's the same foot. I can't like run, jog. I'm like, all right, bro, like what's going on? So I'm just sitting there like wondering like, yo, what is going on? Like what am I gonna do? Like, so I'm getting ice treatment, icing, ice baths, everything, like trying to make sure I'm ready for these playoffs when they come up. And then we had Hamilton the first round of the Cal playoffs. And that was when my ankle was like, I don't know what it was, but it just kept hurting. And then we came into that game, you know, we started off good. And then we ended up losing by 1 at home. It's kind of like really tough for us because one of our goals was to win a Cal playoff game and we ain't win it. But like I said, again, we had state playoffs coming up. So first round of state playoffs, we versed Cherokee. And mind you, ACIT, they never won no state playoff games for basketball, nothing. Like it was never really like that. ACIT, you know, they're just starting to develop their sports. And around this time, like when we're about to start the game, like probably 2 days before the game, I'm still having this ankle pain. I'm like, yo, I gotta thug it out. Like I just had to keep thugging it out, taping it, icing, wrap, like all that, stretch it, everything. So we go into the Cherokee game. I don't start. So I'm like, okay. Like, I see what coach is doing. He want to make sure I come off the bench, make sure if I'm like, he wants to double check to make sure I'm okay. So I get subbed in the game. It's a close game at Cherokee on the road. We have nothing to lose. So like, they're expected to win. They have a higher seed than us. So we're like, all right, like let's lock in. During that whole game, it was going back and forth. I started scoring more. I started scoring that game. I remember like I was getting to the bucket. I remember Nas was getting to the bucket. Za was getting to the bucket. The whole starting 5 was really getting to the bucket. Mill was playing good D. I remember everything. Like we was so vocal that game. It was like I was just like, yo, it gave me like chills at one point because I'm like, yo, like we really playing as a team. Like and like we're all playing like at this level where I'm like in pain. Like I'm running in pain. I can't like literally run. I'm like limping up the court. I'm trying my hardest, like literally trying my hardest. And then we were lucky enough to come out with the dub. We won by probably about like 11. That was the first state playoff game ACIT ever won. So we go down in history for that. We actually have the best record at ACIT too, 20-6 or something like that, 20-7 or something like that. I was able to score double digits a game. Everybody in the starting 5 was averaging double digits a game. Like, that's a good squad right there. Nas was averaging probably about 13, 14. I was averaging 12. Desi and Mill was averaging around 10. And then Zai was like 9. No, Zai was at 10 because he was always finishing my dime. Shout out Zai. You know, after that whole season, I felt like I didn't really like play to my max potential. Like, all right, so then once senior year ended, you know, I gotta go through the whole recruitment process, and that's a process that really takes time. Like, you gotta start that from probably your sophomore year, and I probably started around the end of my. I had actually like 2 offers from sophomore to junior year, but I lost them because due to the transfer portal, that played a big role. That's when the transfer portal came about. So I'm sitting there looking at myself in the mirror like, yo, you gotta get an offer soon or something. During my senior year, I'm like, yo, like, you put all this work in, you got the highlights, you got the tape, you got everything. So then I started sending film to probably about a couple coaches. I got word back. Some coaches wanted me to come to camps. Some coaches told me to come visit ASAP. So I took a couple visits. I was actually blessed to receive 3 or 4 offers. Yeah, 3 offers my senior year, all in probably a month. It was Arizona Christian, Vermont Tech, and then it was Eastern University. Those 3 schools really were there talking to me every day. I ended up choosing Vermont Tech just because the coach was like, he made me feel welcomed and made me feel made me feel like I was at home. And they're the school that offered the most money, so I was like, all right, like I'm gonna have to go here, you know, anything to save money. So, and senior year ends, I commit, go to Vermont Tech, boom. So summer goes by, I'm having my fun, but training, you know, doing the regular things, you know, cause I'm gonna leave my friends, say bye, but I'm also working, making sure I'm doing my thing. Playing AAU still. I actually played AAU for Team Final Black and G5 Elite. G5 is like a known team around here, and Team Final is like more kind of up north. So towards the end of my senior year, after like when the summer was ending, I pack up, get ready to go to college. So I'm like, all right, like this is the opportunity. Like you gonna start, you gonna try to get your minutes. Coach telling me he want me to play off rips. I'm like, all right, like come on, this your year. Like he want me to play. Like he telling me, yo, like I could use you really well. I'm like, okay, like let's keep working, let's keep working. So I get on campus, you know, teammates was great. Shout out to all my teammates out there, you know, those are my guys for real. Going up there, it's kind of a big difference because the town that I was in Vermont, it was called Randolph. It was in the middle of nowhere. Like it was just trees around us. The nearest thing we had was a gas station and a McDonald's. So like I was just stuck in my dorm 24/8 the whole time, like with the guys. So day by day though, it was getting better. You know, I enjoyed the environment. I enjoyed my teammates. You know, they was funny, like they was cool, and they was just good teammates to play with. I built a lot of friendships out there. You know, shout out to all those guys, man. I hope they all doing good. So then all of a sudden I'm like, yo, like I'm not really feeling like the Vermont area no more. And then come to find out, I'm looking at the bill. I'm like, oh shoot, like coach said this, it was this much. Why are we paying this much? So I'm like, oh shoot, like we gotta get things under control. Like, so I'm telling my mom. She like, oh shoot, like what's going on? Like, and I told her like, yo, look at the bill. Like that's not the money. Like we're not even supposed to be paying that much. And then I'm like already not feeling the area, and I'm like, yo, like I'm not really liking it out here. And I'm like, yo, like it's really like it just wasn't. When I realized it wasn't the fit for me, I'm like, yo, mom, like we don't want to be paying that much money. And my mom was like, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be spending this much money. Like if they gonna keep taxing the money. So then I called the coach at ACCC and I to community college out where I'm at, Sejuco. He said I can transfer. I just gotta get my transcripts and I can play next year. I was like, okay, like, all right. So look, like, I see a little window of opportunity. But when I was in high school, I thought ACCC was like, it's right next to my house. So I'm sitting there like, do I really want to just go to a school next to my house when I can like showcase my talent somewhere else? But then once I realized like I'm gonna save a lot of money and the area wasn't like for me, and I could save money out here and, you know, build for the next 2 years, I was like, okay, like I could see myself going to ACCC. So made the decision. I transferred to ACCC, and when I came out here, I'm like, all right, like you got 11 months to get ready for the next season. Because when I transferred, I tried to play, but the coach said I couldn't play due to like the transcript whole situation and all that other jazz. So I'm like, okay, you have 11 months to lock in. So I'm sitting there going by these months. The first 2 months, I'm just sitting there like having fun. I'm not really taking it serious. So I'm like, okay, like I gotta lock in. So like during that mid-second month, I'm like, yo, like you wasting your time. The off season is where like you put your all in, like you go 100%, 110% every time. So I'm like, all right, like you're not taking it serious. So once I realized like, yo, I need to get in the gym, take it serious, I started contacting my teammates. Well, like one of my old teammates from ACIT, but now he had ACCC with me. Shout out Edison. We finna turn up next year. Ever since then, I started to dial in with them. You know, train, and then all of a sudden, I started lifting with my other boys, Brian, Dre, JoJo. We all started lifting, you know. So I'm lifting and training, hooping. Like I'm being consistent. Then all of a sudden, I'm feeling knee pain again. I'm like, yo, but throughout like the past 3 months, I say. I'm dealing with all this pain back at home, like this year. I'm like, yo, like what's going on with my knee? Like my inflammation was bad. I was stretching, icing. I'm just wondering like what's the problem? So I'm thinking the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, it's probably the Baker cyst. So I go check my knee out, and the doctor's like, yo, it's not your Baker cyst. So I'm like, okay, like what is it? And then I found out that I had a torn meniscus. And I said, how long have I had this? And he said, due to the damage, like it's been like this for 1.5 years now. So I was thinking to myself, so I was like, look, so from my senior year to now, I've been playing on a torn meniscus the whole time, and I didn't even know. And I was told that it was a Baker cyst. So I'm sitting there in my head like, yo, like I was really playing like at a high level, like throughout that senior year and in the summer, and then going to open runs at Vermont. Like in my head, I'm like, yo, like I'm playing at a high level. I'm able to slide on defense. It's just one thing that I peeped though that I was not really fully like 100% good on was like jumping off my right leg. But it was there, but it wasn't really there. So that's the only thing, but everything else I was fine. Like my first step was there, everything was good. So then once I found out I got this torn meniscus, I'm like, yo, so what do I do? Mind you, when I find out I have the torn meniscus, it's probably 8 months before the season starts, which is the upcoming season. So I got 8 months. Do I get this surgery? So I'm talking to the doctor. I'm like, how long is the surgery? Like, how long is recovery time? Everything. He said it was 3 months. So I'm like, okay, like, I think I should just get it done now, so I don't have to worry about it in the long run. So I ended up getting the surgery. So far the surgery, it was all right, you know. They had me off the anesthesia. I don't really remember what happened, but once I got off the surgery, the first 2 weeks, I'm just sitting in my bed, and I'm like, yo, like, am I gonna be able to play again? So then during those 2 weeks where I got surgery, like after surgery, my doctor calls me, and he's like, Jaden, like, your knee is really bad. You might have to get a knee replacement. So I didn't tell nobody. In my head, I'm like breaking down. I'm like, yo, am I even gonna play basketball again? Like, and I said, how long's like recovery time for like a knee replacement? And he said like 2 years. I'm like, oh shoot, because I need like a donor, like a full knee. I'm like, oh shoot, that's crazy. So he was like, I mean, but you never know, you could feel good, feel better. But he said I had no cartilage in my knee, and that like I'm really bone to bone, so it's like it's kind of a risk. So I'm like, oh shoot. So I'm sitting there talking to my parents like, what do I do? Like, then I tell my close friends, I'm like, yo, what do I do? Then the answer I got was just ask God, like, what's gonna happen? So this is when I really started to realize like God works in mysterious ways. So recently after my surgery, you know, I was on a prayer call. I was on a Zoom prayer call with Zaire's mom, and Nas. So during this prayer call, he's telling me like, he's like praying for me, making sure like, yo, my surgery's good, that I have a good recovery time. And he's telling me, he's praying for me, and like when he was praying for me, I had like this weird feeling in my body. I didn't tell nobody. Like with the people that was there, I didn't tell nobody. Like I had this weird tingleness in my body, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, and then I had Zaire's mom have her hand like on me. And this is around the time where like I can walk, but I'm limping. Like I'm limping every time I walk. I can't really walk. So he's like, I pray that like all the arthritis go, like they say you don't have no arthritis, all that pain, like your recovery time's faster. So when this all happened, after that prayer, I'm like, oh shoot, like I had like a feeling in my body I never like felt. So next morning, I'm waking up, I'm like, oh shoot, like I can move my knee, like I can walk normal. So I'm like, okay. Like the power of God really, like God works in mysterious ways. You just literally have to put your trust in him. And that's something that I kind of dealt with at one point. My trust was there, but you know, I didn't really take it as serious. But now, like, I've been starting to take it more serious. I'm like, as of right now, I'm going through something that I have to ask God about, like, yo, whether if this is what I want or not. And you know, he's helping me, he's talking to me. And yeah, ever since that day, this was on Easter. On Easter day. Ever since Easter day, I've been able to walk fully normal. I've been able to like run the treadmill, do the bicycle, like the steps is going like slow, but I'm getting better results. So, you know, I'm just taking it day by day. You know, I don't want to think too much ahead of like in the future, because just like focus on your day. Like, what really stuck with me is this quote. It's like, focus on every 24 hours you get. Don't think about next week, next year. Just take it day by day. So, you know, once you take things day by day and you're like, okay, I got better this day, then you're gonna get better this day, and then the next day, and then the next day. So, you know, just try to get better every day, 1%, at least 1% every day. You know, all it takes is 15 minutes. Why can't you take 15 minutes out your day? Fix that though. Get in there.
Yeah, facts, bro. Day by day.
Day by day type shit.